No, it's not time yet. And I think the thing is that everybody saw that last night. His receivers, they can't separate. His offensive line can't protect him. Doug Peterson refused to run the football. He's just like, forget it.
Now, a lot of times when quarterbacks get benched, I feel really bad. And for a lot of Eagles fans, this is something that they felt should have happened a while ago. I think that's kind of harsh to Carson Wentz. But at the same time, we've seen quarterbacks be benched for much, much less. Let's face it, the NFL can be an incredibly tough league to make it in. And when you make it, when you finally make it, it can be a very tough league to stay in. And in this case, it can also be a very tough league to remain a starter in, especially if you're a quarterback that has a competent backup behind you. And the way things are looking, Jalen Hurts might be a little better than just competent. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because you simply will not want to miss another Red Zone Coop video. I'm going to work hard to make this one of the best and most consistent NFL channels out there. And I want you guys to be a part of the community. Lastly, liking the video goes a very long way. So if you enjoy the content, be sure to like the video. It helps out a ton. I want to establish this point right now, like this very second in this video. I don't think Carson Wentz is the Eagles' sole problem. I'm not really sure I would call Carson Wentz a problem. I think there are quite a few teams in the NFL that would love to have Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback. I think Carson Wentz is somebody that was put in a very tough situation. But hey, that's life. Unfortunately, we have to deal with the situations that are presented to us. Carson Wentz's situation? Let me go ahead and read you off some stats. Coming into the Eagles versus Packers game, Carson Wentz had 15 interceptions, most in the NFL. He had been sacked 46 times, most in the NFL. You know what? Everything I say, let's just say it's the most in the NFL unless I say otherwise. Carson Wentz had been pressured 132 times. He had been hit 49 times. His receivers had 29 drops. Carson Wentz unfortunately has 95 off-target completions. He's been blitzed 163 times, second most in the NFL, and he has 2.6 seconds to pass in the pocket. Third worst in the entire NFL. Everything I just read you do not want to hear when it comes to your starting quarterback. 29 drops is a ton. The Eagles receiver group leaves a lot to be desired, and it doesn't help that Alshon Jeffrey is now stealing snaps from Travis Fulgham, arguably the Eagles' best receiver. Fulgham had been scorching hot during the season, at one point leading the entire league in receiving yards, but unfortunately, he's cooled down, and cooled down in a major way, relegating a bad group to absolutely horrible. Oh, and Zach Ertz, does that guy even still play football? The guy has all of the talent in the world, but this season, he hasn't been great. The injury didn't help, doesn't help, but before the injury, he was looking like a shell of himself. Look, I know we all view Goddard as the future, but when your receivers are as bad as they are right now, Ertz could help. Fulgham's a former 6th-round pick, fresh off the waiver wires. If the Eagles want to get better, I think they have to get Fulgham more involved. I think the play calling as a whole has to improve. We need more consistent offensive line play from the Eagles, which is tough. If the talent's not there, it's not there. Offensive line isn't one of those positions you could magically say, oh, I'm going to play better at. Technique takes time to learn, and some guys, they don't have the strength. They don't have the talent. Don't sleep on the importance of an offensive line in 2020. Come on, football fans, we're way better than that. Now that I've said that, I can add that Wentz simply does not help his offensive line. Not in the least bit. His pocket presence has regressed. And most importantly, he holds the ball way too long. A lot of times he's looking for a big play that's not there. Wentz is talented, I truly do believe that. You don't go from being an MVP candidate on a Super Bowl winning team to nothing that fast, unless there's a big injury or something. Injuries aside, I still think Wentz has talent. Now, this is a dumb question, and I'm probably going to get hate for it, but I probably would deserve it. If Wentz was the quarterback for the Eagles during their Super Bowl run, do the Eagles still win the Super Bowl? No Nick Foles, only Carson Wentz. He's healthy. Do the Eagles win? That truly felt like a magical season for the Eagles, and it felt like everything broke right. Shout out to Nick Foles randomly turning into Peyton Manning earlier in his career. Now, as we touch back to Carson Wentz, I think Shannon Sharp was right. I think it is incredibly tough to judge Wentz under these conditions. But again, these were the conditions that are presented to us. Jalen Hurts, unfortunately, has these exact same conditions. I watched the entire game, and I have to say, Jalen Hurts looked good. And Coach Peterson, I think he agrees with me. He says we needed a spark in this game to try to get some things going. Peterson will consider everything before naming a starter next week. For starters, I wish Peterson would name a starting running back and stick to him, because Miles Sanders is averaging over 5.6 yards per carry. Play him like he's averaging 5.6 yards per carry. The Eagles' offensive line is not good. And if you look at Miles Sanders and his attempts, they are definitely trending down, which is something you do not want to see from a back that's averaging 5.6, almost 6 yards per carry. Miles Sanders, when he gets going, can be an absolute game changer. This guy's only 23 years old. Putting him in a committee hasn't made him better, but I guess I understand why you do it, given his injury history. If the Eagles are employing a halfback committee to keep Miles Sanders healthy, then I unfortunately understand where they're coming from. But if the reasoning is anything outside of that, then I seriously have to question their coaching staff even more than I already do. And I mean, we're at the point where I don't even know if I can call it a committee, because the Eagles simply don't run the ball enough. Their play calling is so frustrating, but somehow Jalen Hurts managed to look very solid in his debut despite any bad play calling. It's 4th and 18. The Eagles are down 23-3. It really feels like Jalen Hurts had no business throwing this touchdown pass, but he did.
To the end zone, touchdown! Jalen Hurts.
He escaped the pocket right, felt the pressure, and delivered an absolute dime to his receiver. And it's crazy, because I feel like the receiver group in Philadelphia didn't help Hurts out as much as they could today. Moments later, the Eagles get a punt return touchdown from their explosive rookie. The Eagles end up making a game out of what felt like a no-win situation or garbage time, really whatever you want to call it. I think it's worth noting that Hurts looked pretty accurate, at least in my opinion. You guys can leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, Bleacher Report had a scouting report on Hurts. They called him a creative quarterback. His work at Alabama and Oklahoma, plus conversations with coaches and scouts, suggest he's capable of evolving on the go like a Lamar Jackson or a Josh Allen. Hurts' accuracy has to improve, but the right coach will create a passing attack to highlight his strengths. I'm interested in knowing what you guys feel about that scouting report and if the Eagles should start Hurts going forward. Hurts was 5 of 12 for 138 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick, while Wentz was 6 of 15 for 97 yards. It is worth noting that Carson Wentz was visibly unhappy with his coach after taking back-to-back sacks early in the game. Hey, the Eagles drafted a fantastic prospect at quarterback. We had to all know it was only a matter of time before he touched the field. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm Red Zone Coop, and I'll see you guys in the next one.